Okay, Year 7, so we are now at the part where you need to record your composition into Audacity. So there's a couple of ways that we can do this, and I suggest that in your own spare time at home, that you have a little bit of a play around with Audacity. So in order to access Audacity, there's two ways that you can do this. So you can access this from the go.parkdale tab on Compass. So if you go to Go PSC, it will bring up your apps there and you can access it from there. So you can see that it brings up the applications tab and you'll just click on that. Click on that. Eventually. And you'll whack in your password and username, and then it'll bring up the desktop, and then you can select Audacity from there. Now, I know some students have had a little bit of trouble recording into Audacity using it from go.parkdale. So the other option that you could do, and it doesn't take up too much space, is to actually go to the Audacity website from home and download it. So I'll show you how to do that. So you click on Audacity there and it will open up. And so that's in the applications. And I'm pretty sure you might be able to download it from there as well. We'll just have a quick look. Oh no, that's just the workspace. That's okay. So what you could then do is just go to Google and type in Audacity. And if you click on Audacity, and you might have to do this from home because it may be blocked from school, but it's a super handy program to have, and one that you can use for a lot of other subjects to record little sound bits as well. And you can download it from there. So you can do that from home, so that's how you do that. For the purpose of this tutorial today, I've already downloaded it. So if we go into, my programs, you can see that I have Audacity already. And so what we want to do is, you can see it here, and the only reason I'm using it from my download is because I had a little bit of trouble recording from the app page, but we'll see what works for you guys. Similarly, if you have a Mac, what I would recommend is just opening GarageBand, and I'm going to show you a little bit of both on how to do that. So we'll get to that in a moment. So you can see that on your screen of Audacity, you've got the manual, the wiki, there's heaps of little YouTube videos as well. So what we're going to do is the very basic just recording setup, and you can have a play around with this at home using your voice even, and then when you come into class and you're ready to record your composition, we'll set everything up together and you'll be able to do it in class time. So you can see that this is called a digital audio workstation. So we have all our play, stop, record, lots of little buttons and whatnot up the top. But basically what we need to do first is set up a track. So we are going to click across to tracks, and we're going to add a new audio track. And you can see that that brings it up in the window there. So I have set up a little keyboard, and I'm going to record straight into the microphone on my computer. At school, what you'll do is you'll run a lead, a cable, out of the back of the keyboards straight into your computer where the microphone jack is, and that will record a nice clean sound into the Audacity program. The reason I'm not doing that is because the keyboard I'm using doesn't have an output for that today, so I am running it through GarageBand. So if we just go over to GarageBand, for those of you that are using a Mac, when you open it up, we won't save that for now. If you open up a new project, you can select empty project, and it will bring up an untitled classic electric piano. So I have my keyboard running through GarageBand. So when I play, you can hear that I can get all sorts of different effects through my GarageBand program. So if I wanted a vintage clavichord, we can select 70s clag and I can get. So you might decide that you want a special type of piano and you can select that. But for today's recording, I'm just going to use a grand piano. So on GarageBand, when you're ready to record, you might just unclick the metronome. You might give yourself a count in. And what you're going to do is my recording from, if we remember back to my MuseScore recording, which I'll open and just remind you of. So I'm going to record this into GarageBand, and then I'm going to show you how to do it in Audacity as well. So for those of you that are using GarageBand, continue watching. For those of you that are using Audacity, you can either continue watching if you like, or you can stop and click onto the next video and I'll show you how to record in that. But basically, you know how to set up your track to record. Okay, so for those of you using GarageBand, we've set up our track, and in the corner here we've got a little count in and a metronome. I'm not going to worry too much about that for now because we just want a recording. I've printed out my music and I'm just basically going to hit record. I'll hear 4 clicks in and then I'll start playing. And remembering that my keyboard skills aren't that great. Turns out my composition isn't that great either, but you know, you get the idea. So I'm just going to ignore that for now because I haven't set a metronome, but here's my recording. So when you're done, you just hit record again or spacebar to stop, and you can hear that I made a few mistakes in that. So if I'm not happy with that, I can just go back to the beginning. I might just have a little listen to it. So that's where I made the mistake. So I might just stop there and I'm like, well, that's rubbish. I could probably play it a little bit better. And I'm just going to delete the whole recording, hit enter, and I go back to the beginning and I'll try it again. So I'm much happier with that recording now. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that I save that. So I'll hit save and I'm going to save that in my Year 7 folder under Parkdale, Year 7, and it's Miss Kalia's composition of Radness. Then what you want to do with that one is you want to export the track. So we've made it an MP3 file. So if we click back to there, what you're going to do is you're going to go to share, and you can either send the song to your iTunes or you can make it a ringtone if you like. You can do all sorts of things with it, but we're going to click export song to disk. Okay, and so if you've got a folder called Year 7 Music, you can pop it there. So I might just pop it there, and down the bottom there's all the different files that you can export it as. So I'm just going to leave it as an MP3, and I'm just going to export the cycle area or length of the selected region. So that's just going to export what I've done there, and then I'll hit export, and you can see that it is bouncing down to export the file. So then when we go to my folder that has all of my Parkdale Year 7 music stuff in it, you can see that Miss Kalia's composition of Radness, there goes my cat across the piano, will appear in here. So there's the file, and the MP3 should be here. So we just select that, and then that's what you upload to the Compass Learning task. So you'll have your composition that you've written in your notation form in MuseScore, and then a recording of you playing it. So that's the easiest way to do it for Apple Mac users through GarageBand. You'll just plug in your keyboard straight into the USB port, and away you go. So if there's any questions about that, have a play around with it. You might like to have a bit of a play around with your voice first, recording into the program. You might like to also select a sound either on the keyboard that you're using at school, or have a bit of a play around with the sounds that are on the keyboard here, and you can give that a shot for homework, and then come into class and be ready to record that.